what's up, everybody? We're back with another Buck Junkie Podcast. Got Mark, Mikey, Jamie, and I'm Malcom, and we're ready to get it again, guys. What y'all been up to this week?
Shoot, praying for rain.
Man, it's so dry.
Bad, Dusty.
Mikey, you ain't been doing no rain dances for us, man?
Man, I hung a snake on the fence and everything, and it didn't work.
Throw out some chicken bones. And
Yeah, I did a rain dance.
Man, we got to do something.
Burn some incense tonight or something.
There's supposedly a chance tomorrow.
Like 30, I think 30% Wednesday.
I'll take 10. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. We got to have something, man.
It worked.
We got some seed up out of the ground, but I don't know if it's going to make it.
Yeah.
I think all the turnips and the big leaf, broadleaf stuff will be fine, but
Yeah, the brassicas came up with not much rain other than dew. We did actually get some kind of a rain down there. I don't know what it was, but you could tell that we had gotten some kind of moisture on the ground at some point, but it wasn't a whole lot. But all the brassicas came up. They actually look pretty good right now.
Good.
yeah. South Trump Field and Mark Plot Field both look really good.
Is there
And
any grain in there at all, though?
Not much.
not much.
I
I
hope.
see some of the oats up.
Yeah.
And I think it's just laying dormant because it's been dry. We'll get a little rain, they're going to shoot up.
Got to be positive.
Yeah.
If not, we're going to be putting some more seed out.
Be
Either
all
that
right.
or the turkeys eat it all.
Y'all got the rest of it in place last week, right? So everything's out.
Everything's planted.
We just got to hope for rain. We did some stand work last week. Jamie
Whew.
got them stairs knocked out, didn't you?
Them stairs knocked Jamie out. What
Was that
happened?
bad?
Man, I was pretty sore Saturday morning.
Well, you should have seen the one set of stairs he done that he stuck me and Mikey with putting on a mud hole stand.
Well, the ultralight models.
He
No.
needed a crane.
Like, it don't matter if you want to load a D8 dozer in that stand, them steps
They
will
ain't
hold
going
it.
nowhere.
Yes.
That's what I like to hear. Did y'all put them on my stand?
It's-
it was not my
Which one did y'all put them on for real?
Mud
mud
hole.
hole.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. That's when I tried to kill myself on.
Yeah, we got a lot done.
It's
last
4
week.
foot of stairs, but it weighed 400 pounds.
Yeah.
Oh, I tell you what,
They put the weight limit on them. That's big man approved.
those stairs are what, maybe 7 foot long,
I don't know if it's that or not.
and they
went all the way
weigh
across side by side and hanging off a foot on both
they
sides.
weigh twice as much as the one that was 12 foot long. I mean,
Yeah.
Really?
you,
So y'all also moved some stands last week.
Yeah.
After
Yeah.
the podcast.
the Trump stand was
Was it sketchy moving it?
The stand wasn't bad, really.
it wasn't bad. You don't realize. I was like, nah, we'll be fine. Just pick it up and go with it. Once you got it off the ground, that stand was way up in the air. Like, we ended up cutting probably 2 foot off the legs, or right at 2 foot off the legs, because where we put it was on a hilltop, so you didn't need to be quite that tall. You'd be in the trees, but it wasn't bad. Once you got it on forks and got everything strapped to it, I mean, it wasn't no trouble getting it across. I mean,
No, it wasn't that bad. You just have to creep, not get impatient. And
Yeah.
Just take your time. Make sure you strap it to the
Yeah.
mast.
I mean, I wouldn't want to go no mile down the road or nothing with it
No.
like we had it.
Who was operating?
Jamie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
He
put
was
me a
operating.
liability
He
on
was
that
operating.
one.
he smoked some limbs, had limbs falling out of the
Oh,
trees.
just one.
It was but it wasn't bad. No, it wasn't bad at all.
Yeah.
Worst part's just getting them back level, getting everything set back up, and
And yeah, it's tough leveling up them when the tractor's on a slope, the stand's on a hill, and you're trying to set it down to get it leveled on
And do
blocks.
both.
It does take some minute.
but it looks good. We're gonna have to get on an extension ladder or something and get some of them limbs off that big oak tree behind the South Trump now.
Oh, that's coming. We fixed to do some videos on some.
We finna maintain some
yeah,
land.
Some lane cleaning up. You got to have line of sight out of your stands, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pole saws. That's pruners, whatever you got, chainsaws it might take. We got the lane chart we can get after. We're even going to try to get a mulcher next week and get some videos cleaning up and showing y'all how we make lanes.
I'm gonna tell you, we were hell on some chainsaws last week.
Was it?
We threw
Oh,
more
yeah.
blade chains off, and I think Jamie cut about a 1/4 inch piece of plate steel with the regular one. It won't even cut butter no more.
Man.
But we
The nail got in the way.
man,
On the stand or on
Yeah, I was cutting the bottom legs off, and I wasn't
they
really.
designed for that?
I didn't pay attention.
by the end of the day, we were cutting trees down with the pole saw.
That,
And
I don't care what nobody said.
pole
Milwaukee,
saw,
that Milwaukee
backbone.
cordless pole saw, hands down, is a beast.
Deer hunter friend, ain't it?
yeah,
No doubt.
You get you them high output batteries. Go ahead and get you 2 of them, and that saw you put in.
You'll give out before it
yeah,
will.
yeah, yeah.
You sure will.
we got down there, and I guess when we moved the old South Trump stand to the new property, we were putting it in the woods, and we kind of had to do some rearranging with it to get it to set where we want it and still be able to see good. Well, when we measured the steps, we measured it South Trump.
So we're officially changing the name of that one.
Yeah.
Jamie, they called it the Border Patrol.
Yeah, Border Patrol.
He's going to build him a wall.
Yeah.
He's got Border Patrol staying now.
We had to do something, but we because it's on the hillside, it changed the angle of the steps, so we had to take off some on the bottom. But we didn't have like a dummy. None of us have a skill saw with us or nothing. So Jamie was running the business end of the pole saw. I was running the trigger, and I was standing back 8 foot behind him, and he was guiding the chainsaw to cut the legs off.
It was not OSHA approved. Pretty much nothing we did Friday.
That's like set up for a TK Mikey something. You got 2 men running one saw.
Oh, it was funny.
Yeah,
If we all had
video of that.
GoPros, we'd been set.
Yeah.
But we ended up moving the wood stand too. We got it moved. That was not on the list, but I think you and Waylon set that one about 2 years ago, and it was pretty sketchy to begin with. So
It's on the hill pretty good, yeah.
we got it moved. We got to do a little bracing on it and get it situated, but that was probably the worst one, trying to get it set level.
How many wasps you run up out of it?
Believe it or not, Mikey sprayed everything with what bison, I guess, back then. It was no. I don't guess it was any wasp.
The only wasp I seen was on your gate. They're still there. They was waiting on you. Yeah, when you open it, they come out of it. That's what I told you. I said wasps are coming when you open it Friday morning.
See 'em.
Yeah.
I tell you what, if y'all ain't using that Bifen on your stand, you're missing out.
Was it? It's
Bifin, ain't it?
yeah, Bifen, yes.
I don't know what the chemical name is. It's some bad stuff. Like you ain't supposed to get it on you.
Yeah,
You get downwind when you spray
It don't
it.
take much. It's just like an ounce or so.
It don't kill on contact or nothing like that.
No.
It like keeps them away.
They just
No,
don't
if you
like
go
it.
in there and trying to take some out, you're gonna get
yeah,
smoked.
you're gonna get stung. That's right.
If you got a wasp problem around stands or dirt dauber problem, I don't care if it's around camp, like around
your
the eaves,
house,
even the eaves on your
side
house.
porch, it'll keep them out. It'll keep them away for a little while. And the rain does wash it off. So if you're getting, we ain't had no rain, so we ain't washed none. But you got to keep it applied pretty regularly. But
like every 3 months or something, you're supposed to reapply, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Something like that.
That'd be on the short end.
It flat works. If we can just find something to work on spiders, we'll be in business.
I didn't see. I got up in a plantation stand, and it was clean. Which that's one of the
Dixie blinds.
Dixie blinds.
So that's what I like about buying those prefab blinds that really seal
It
up.
was sealed up. It wasn't a
Sealed.
bug one in it.
You're not getting inside it.
You got on those, the ones where you got to worry about them are is in the brackets up under the stand, which me and Jamie ran into
Yeah.
that, and anywhere under the steps.
That's where they build them.
They get under the step.
Or the little drip edge by the
Drip
windows.
edge.
That's why you still have to spray those stands. Just because they seal up and they're not inside it, don't mean they're not all around it. And you get up in there on a cold morning, early fall, open the windows up.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that goes
warms
back.
up, and they start coming out and
coming
getting
in the windows. 'cause
Yep.
you got- yeah.
That goes back to looking at what you have and before opening day.
Yeah. Don't show up
Yeah,
third
ready
weekend
to-
of November,
like
jump
ready
off
to
in that
hunt.
stand.
Yeah.
But no, we got a lot done last week.
See any deer?
Oh yeah. I actually got a video, should be hitting in a couple of weeks maybe, that Mikey's out in the field planting and plantation. And, y'all talked about that eco edge, letting the stuff grow up around. And I got some video I guess, what did we figure out? Was that the Sudan grass that's tall, or is it the Egyptian whatever?
I think it's the Sudan grass is the one that's about 8, 9 foot tall.
So them deer come out in that field, come right to the eco edge, stop, look. And Mikey's in the middle of the field with the tractor planting. They stop. They kind of trot across the open field, get to the next little section of grass, stop. They stay there a minute or two, move to the next. And it probably took them 3 minutes across that field.
Yeah.
They wasn't in a hurry and they wasn't spooked.
They knew they had cover along
Yeah.
the way.
Mm.
Oh, that field's gonna be money this year.
Oh,
They
yeah.
never paid a bit of attention. I'm standing out there wide open. I mean, they look at us, but they go over and start feeding acres along the edge of
So
the
I
field.
got the alert on my phone when there was a big body doe.
Yes.
She was standing right
Two
in
little
front of
ones.
the camera, and then 150, 200 yards over her shoulder, over her back rear end. I saw y'all. Like, you were out,
Yeah.
and Mikey was in the tractor, and you were standing out there with the camera.
They didn't pay
I
no.
was like, dang, they ain't even looking at it. And she was posing.
They
It looked like
stayed
she was
there.
posing, yeah.
They fed till we left. They were
Yeah,
still
we
there.
left. They were still standing there.
It is time to start moving some of them cameras. I know me and you'd put some on the muscadine vines and over there on the
They
edge
done
of those
about pulled
vines
that vine out.
of the
So
tree.
you get to looking, they're nipping on the bottom and I guess tugging down on it. They done pulled a lot of it out of the top of the
I
tree.
think coons work it over pretty good too.
Yeah, coons are probably climbing it and pulling it.
Yeah, could be.
That's my turkey cam now. The deer have left it alone. Like since we got seeds in the ground out there, you see every once in a while come on. But man, the turkeys are all over that camera because we put them seeds out last week, and I hope they're not eating all of it before this rain comes.
We got a lot of content, a lot of interest stuff that we kind of noticed, and I ain't gonna let the cat out of the bag on some of it, but I did see a lot more to make me love that Vetch even more. I mean,
Really? Still eating it. Man, they're still eating it. Where Jamie left the edge
I
of it.
mean, that's
Y'all drilled into it, though, didn't you?
Yeah, I run it. I drilled over the top.
See, that's going to be a good test to see if our little wood cedar will, we broke up half of it and then left a pretty good strip of vetch on the outside edge and drilled right into that because it's mowed down.
yeah.
The deer have ate it down, but if we get some germination, it comes on up through it. It should frost here next week.
Yeah,
We're supposed to get to 36 one morning. If we
be right
conditions
there
are
on the
right,
edge.
we'll be right there for a frost. So hopefully,
Hands down, that's probably been the most impressive thing we've planted, I think.
summer plot.
Yeah.
You wait and see that video. It's pretty cool to see what they done. And heck, I guess we got that. What else was it we done? Got the stands moved, got the steps put on, planted. I guess we boogered up some of Jamie's fine engineering on some of the steps. He ain't been out there and seen that yet, but we probably get a text message on that.
You're not allowed to go to the mark plot stand.
I had an engineer, infield engineering.
Hey, we had a lot of trim pieces to fix.
Yeah,
Trail pieces.
it looks real nice.
Yeah.
No, it is. It'll be fine. It looks good. We had to do some modification. We didn't allow for, how those sportsman condos, how you put the steps on the legs of it.
Yeah.
It comes down at an angle. Well, we didn't allow for the angle on top of the steps, so we kind of had to do a little scab over. But it's solid, and it looks like freaking Bob Vila done it. Man, it looks great.
Well, what are we talking about this week, Mark?
Man, I'm gonna let Jamie head this off. He kind of.
Is this your topic, Jamie?
Oh, well, it kind of developed into my talk
Yes.
at about 10 o'clock this morning.
This morning, we're sitting there in the office. We're doing our normal day-to-day stuff, and Jamie gets a phone call. It's our dad.
I was going to say, Jamie got a rescue call this morning.
So he shot a buck this morning, pretty good buck with a bow, and he called Jamie and can't get it out. And where he's been hunting, we had a tornado come through
2 years ago, I guess.
2 or
wasn't it?
3 years ago, and it obliterated the hunting land. I mean, it's
We started hunting this property in probably 2000, 2001, maybe.
it's been over 20 years.
And me, Mikey, and Mark pretty much knew it like the back of our hands. And now I had no idea where. I mean, I don't know where I don't even know where we was
Changed that much
at.
from the-
It's unreal.
Yeah.
And
You
it's
can't
just
hardly find your way through.
No, it's like a jungle now.
so basically he shot the deer and it ran a couple of yards. Where it ran to was the main path of that tornado, and it just basically created a wall of trees and growth, and you couldn't get to it. He said, I could see the deer laying out there. He said, but there's no possible. I can't walk to it. You can't get to it. So Jamie went up there with a chainsaw, and I'll let you take it from there.
Man,
What all you had to do?
I got a Polaris Ranger, and I will torture that thing. I'm not dragging a deer. If somehow I'm getting a side by side to it. So Daddy went in front cutting limbs and trees out of the way, and me and my dog followed behind it side by side. But it was one man wasn't gonna get it out. Not easy. That deer is probably 180, 190 pounds.
It's big body deer, especially. I mean, that place up there's always had big body deer. It's a low lying area, a lot of bottom farmland, and
It's
producing
acre
big
trees
deer.
up there now. Golly, but no, that's it. My dad, I hope when I'm Daddy 71.
74.
Oh, he ain't that old, is he?
I think so. I hope he ain't
He's
listening.
70 plus, but
I think he's.
I hope I can hunt.
I
Mikey.
don't know how old he is.
We quit counting. Once
Everybody looked at me, Mikey. How
Yeah.
old is
Yeah.
he?
I do good to keep up my own birthday.
Yeah.
So
I hope I can do like
So
my.
he's still climbing up in the tree. Was it a
He's-
climber?
He's
climbing
still doing
stand.
a summit climbing stand,
Smokes.
crossbow. I mean,
He has moved to a crossbow instead.
and that
did,
look,
did.
I'm gonna tell you. So I bought that crossbow. I bought a crossbow several years back. He's like, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna keep shooting my bow, keep shooting that bow. And it got to where it was hurting him. I mean, by then he was in his late 60s.
Done had a heart attack.
Yeah, done had a heart attack. I mean,
his daddy was still shooting probably 68 pounds.
yeah, he
then.
was
I
shooting
mean,
almost 70 pounds then.
And he's good with the bow.
And it just got to where it was hurting his shoulder and stuff. Man, I'm all for it. If I love hunting my crossbow, I can't see good enough, and that's my fault. I should get glasses and all that. But man, if people gripe about people hunting with a crossbow, man, get out there and hunt. I don't care what you're hunting with.
Just get outside.
Yeah, just get outside and go. If that's what you can hunt with and it's legal, go for it. But that leads us to our topic. Hunting bloopers, screw ups, and sticky situations. I mean,
Where does that one fall in? Sticky situation, I guess.
yeah, I mean, you got to think,
that could fall in that border patrol stand.
like we've all killed deer and we've all hunted together, and we've all had some good stories from hunting, whether it be going to get a deer out of the woods or maybe, I have been experienced where we had to run across property line to drag a deer across a wide open sagegrass field, but we've all been there, and we've all got stories to go along, and I thought it'd be pretty entertaining. And to start it off would be like Daddy's situation this morning. You shoot a deer, and if it runs, whether it be with a bow or rifle, you have no control over where that deer's going. and it might drop off a bluff, drop off in a ditch, and you may not be able to get it out right then or have to call for backup. Or I've never heard anybody going in with a chainsaw to go get a deer out, but I mean, that's what led to this topic, and kind of go over some of the stuff we've experienced and, you know, stories we've had going to get deer out. I mean, I got one on top of my head that's probably one of my favorite ones to date, but it's just, you never know. And it's kind of how we would handle that situation, and maybe we'll learn from it. You know, I mean, we've all learned from plenty of experiences like that, and kind of led to this topic, though.
That's going to be a fun one there.
I know some stories at this table for sure. I know for a fact it is. I guess one of my first ones, I guess me and Jamie, we all come from a background of four-wheeler riding and stuff like that. So we always had, you know, big four-wheeler, jacked up, mud tires, and we lived on the edge of a bottom. And a lot of the old guys shoot a deer down there, and they had no way to go get it, you know, other than drag it. So they'd always call us, never failed, Thanksgiving morning, Christmas morning, hey, I got a buck down. Well, one of them we had was one of the ones we had to go get. I know which one you're thinking of. I ain't finna tell that one.
I'll tell it.
That'll be a oh, that's a good one. The one I'm saying is the one Brick killed down there across the canal.
No, I think that Ben killed it, didn't he?
No, Brick killed this one because I remember everybody said you're not getting across the canal.
Yeah, this is shoot, it's probably 30-foot bank and
sand bottom.
Yeah, 60-foot wide creek that they actually built a swinging bridge where they could walk across it, and they actually had a
was it government land or somebody owned it?
No, it's private land. They all owned it.
Oh, okay.
They had like a caddy that if they killed a deer, they'd drag up to the bridge and hoist it across on the swinging bridge. Well, I don't remember, a tree, the water got up and tore the bridge up or something. I don't know.
There's some reason. And so we ended up, he called me, so you think you can go get it? I had a razor at the time. I said, heck yeah. I was young. Whatever it takes. And that's
Deer recovery.
Deer recovery. We're going in.
That was your side hustle.
They're putting bets like there's no way.
He's not crossing.
How was you, probably 16, 17?
No, I had to race. I was probably 20, 21.
Yeah. Like, there's no way he's going, this ain't happening.
So we got in there. I met the guy. He was still with the deer. So I crossed the ditch, got across the ditch, and got over to him.
No problem. Just drove right across it.
Fine. It was fine going across it. We get over there, and what is that? I guess that's birch trees that bottom's full of.
Yeah.
Them little white trees.
Yeah, birch.
They were about, I don't know, 2 or 3 inches around and just touching full. You couldn't see through it. And he said, what are you going to do? And I said, start driving. So, I mean, you'd ride them up on it and set it down. Ride up on it, set it down. We finally
climbing trees.
Yeah, running them over.
Yeah.
We got him out, loaded a deer on it. We got back, and he's riding with me now. We pull up to the canal, and he said, what are you going to do? I said, we're finna cross it.
Was it straight down, 30 foot?
Pretty steep.
It's pretty steep.
And he goes to undo his seatbelt, and I click it back in. I said, you just hold on. And I never picked it up. We dropped off in there, crossed it, went up to the other side, and we got up to the other side, and he was ready to fight. He's like,
That's scary.
He was cussing me.
How deep was the water?
It wasn't that much water.
Yeah, it wasn't much water.
Okay,
just a sand bottom.
Yeah.
You know, but it was just, I mean, it's one of them situations. A lot of people would have had to drug that deer out, or, you know, it's not an ideal situation going to get. And that's just one of the stories I remember. And
you got it out, though.
We got it out. I ain't going to leave a deer laying.
I'm not leaving one laying, and I'm not dragging.
Yeah.
It didn't take long. It wasn't too bad. There's been several situations where, you know, you've got a four-wheeler, got a side-by-side. Man, it makes it so much easier. It gives you, I ain't scared to run over a tree. I paid a note. I paid for it. I'll scratch it. I don't care. We're gonna get to that deer.
It's hard if you don't have a means of getting one out. I mean, for years when I grew up, we had one 3-wheeler, a little one, like a 110 Honda.
A little Honda.
And if you killed more than one deer that morning, even killing one deer, you couldn't ride that thing out. Not if you was a grown man. Yeah, like I was a kid. Dad had thrown a deer across the seat, and I was sitting on it. I had to ride out
on the deer,
sitting on top of the deer. Yeah, but if Daddy took it out, he had to walk next to the 3-wheeler just to keep from dragging the thing, and walk it all the way out. But yeah, it makes a huge difference when you got a piece of equipment that you can go in and get you animals with, because dragging them really sucks.
Heck yeah!
We used one of those little deer caddies.
Yeah,
had the 2 wheels on it. That's all you could take in on government land.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A lot of these places you can't
up there
get
at
to.
Abbeville.
Yeah,
we couldn't take a 4-wheeler in back then. We had to just get the cart, and if you killed one, I mean, sometimes you tried to drag it closest trail, but
all the T roads,
you got to drag out.
You can't. You can't.
Unless it's like a fire lane, they'll let you go in, but you can't get off the trail.
Or maybe if you come out, you better have a deer on the back. You better not be joyriding.
I think they would let you go in. You had to check in at the game warden station, the little check-in station.
I know I'm used to on 30.
You
could hunt off a 4-wheeler, but you could go recover a deer off a 4-wheeler.
Yeah, but you could take it in. But
most time, if you sensible on government land, they probably will. But I mean, I know it is several government land, just nothing but foot access
bicycle.
only.
Well, I mean, there's buddies of mine that I work with and stuff. They hunted at Mark Twain National Forest up in Missouri, and it was foot traffic only.
Yeah.
They killed deer, and they had to drag them out
Pack 'em
miles.
Well, I mean, some of those guys up there out west, they pack them out.
Yeah,
you know?
and see, that's impressive. You know, especially if we're talking about a whitetail. I mean, you imagine packing out a moose or something
Oh, that's
like that.
Oh,
Last week we was in Kentucky and seen them elk, and they're probably they're probably close. I bet they're hitting on 1,000 pounds probably on the hoof. I couldn't imagine butchering that thing and backpacking it out.
Oh, that darn moose we seen in Colorado. I mean,
Oh, you're half a day.
it's
Cutting meat.
unreal.
That's where the work. I mean, people don't understand. That's where the work starts. It's easy
To pull
kill
a
to
one.
trigger.
put a stand or to just pull the trigger, put it on the ground.
yeah.
It's a whole different thing to have to dispose of that animal properly.
Well, that's
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you got to respect it too. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
Last year when I killed Celine Blade, I went to go get Will out of stand on the golf cart, shot the deer, and it just trotted off the field and went right there in the edge of the thing and fell off in that deep ditch, And that was the time. I didn't have my cell phone with me. I left it at the house. Will's phone was dead, so we was down there just me and him. And he'd like to kill us trying to get it out of the ditch, I mean, we
That
could
was a
have.
steep ditch.
Heck yeah, it
Yeah.
was. But I don't know. I don't know what you like. I guess if you know your property and you know what gullies are there and know what ditches are, I mean, it never hurts to keep some rope in the truck or something,
It never fails for me. That's where the deers go in the worst place possible.
yeah, you and Michael, y'all all about some ditch deer and some pond deer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try not to be. I try to drop them, but man, you get a kid with you, it just hangs it up. You don't ever know.
What would be your hardest recovery that you've had to do?
Jamie?
Man, no. I've had some pretty good ones.
I'm trying to think.
Me and Denver, one of my best friends, we hunted at Water Valley running dogs. This has been 10 years ago, probably. No, probably longer than that, probably 15 or 20 now. And they killed a deer and the hill was so steep. Two of us on the front rack of Denver's 4-wheeler. The deer was on the seat like you're talking about. Denver was driving it, and it was tough. It was probably the hardest deer I've ever got out.
Last year, I mean, one that just jumps off at me is it wasn't about actually recovering, but it was about finding the deer. It was more tracking. So we got on one the day evening before it snowed, or it was snowing while we were evening hunting. My son shoots a deer, and the first one he thinks he misses, so he shoots another time at the same deer, he says, and then it ends up being 2 deer, which left us 2 blood trails. And we tracked them, I don't know how far that night. It was probably a couple 100 yards because they were bobbing and weaving through a pine thicket. Well, we knew we were pushing that deer, so we decided we'd stop. And was you with us that night too, Mikey?
He was there that night. I come that
Okay, you
morning.
come in the morning. Okay.
Yeah.
But we got back out there. We let it lay down overnight because it quit snowing. We knew we weren't going to get it wasn't going to cover up. It was cold enough to where we'd be able to track it. We figured it'd lay down. Well, the next morning we get out there. It took us probably 5-6 hours, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was pure
we
luck.
found that deer.
Yeah.
It
'Cause
was
that
lunchtime. We started that morning, and it was after lunch before we recovered that deer.
But y'all
And
recovered
we
both.
covered both of them.
Yeah.
The coyotes had found one. The other one had swam a pretty good sized pond. And just so happens before we gave up, it was on a neighbor's property, and we went around and got permission to get on their property. And Mikey, you had just spotted something that didn't look right on the edge
Yeah.
of the pond, and it ended up we was going another way, and so me and Michael were following the trail and trying to go around. Well, we jumped up some deer, and one of them was a buck, and I was like, man, I don't know if that was the same one, but he's, he bebopped off the totally opposite direction. I said, if that was him, we just bumped him again. He ain't dead.
Yeah.
So he was shooting need more. and I was like, so I went and got up with y'all. That was about the time you saw something caught your eye,
Yeah.
and y'all eased on around the clear other side. I don't know how far,
There's 100 yards across that lake or pond.
that he swam and probably just give out and laid there. And that's where he,
Because I tracked him. Finding that deer was 100% luck. I mean, because I was actually, you were going in the thicket to look for the original blood trail, and we were going to get around the
At
thicket.
the time, y'all still thought it was just one
Just
deer.
thought it was
though.
one deer.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then me and Michael ended up finding it.
Yeah. So I'm riding around the edge of the property, and I just happened to look out the window of the side by side, and I seen blood in the snow, and I'm like, man. So I called Mike. I said, he's done come through this thicket. Well, Mikey's tracking a deer, and he's like, deer's going the other way. And I was like, well, I got blood to the fence, and I got good blood to the fence, and ended up
Couldn't find it once he crossed that fence.
once
That
he
was
crossed the fence. And what my theory to this was, when that deer jumped that fence, he got hung up a little bit enough to where,
I think guts plugged the hole.
yeah, something plugged the hole.
Yeah.
And as soon as he jumped that fence, he quit bleeding. Because, I mean, he was bleeding good until that fence.
Yeah.
And I kind of tracked him once we got permission to get on that landowner's property. We tracked him. I knew he was heading over the hill, but there was nothing to go off of. I mean, there was no blood, there was no hair, there was no nothing other than a few tracks, and there'd been enough deer through that morning. You didn't have a good set of tracks to go off of. And it was 100% luck, but that's when we started backtracking that blood trail and realized, crap, we got 2 blood trails. And it still, at the time, did not make sense to none of us,
No, we didn't, because we found the other deer totally opposite direction across the ditch. Coyotes had done got it and fought, had their way with it. And it was, I guess they were trying to drag it off because we had rode over that morning, didn't realize it.
I don't think
we passed that.
I don't think he was there. I think the coyotes drug him
while we were
on the other side of the ditch looking for the deer. I think the coyotes drug him out of the thicket to the
trying to get him back to the ditch. That could have very well been the case. But we did spot buzzards that morning. And that's kind of what I knew there had to be something. There's no reason those buzzards would have been. I mean, that's to me. If I go back the next day and they're already on it, I know something's around there close.
That's one of the best things to look for if you see buzzards in your areas.
And they'll find
go to them quick.
I found deer we thought we didn't find a week later, and that was the case. I mean, the buzzards done found it.
It's amazing how fast them things can get on stuff sometimes. Because I mean, it happens really fast. Something gets hit in the road. You got hit that morning on the way to work, and you can come back and them buzzards have done took him.
I've had a head in the back of a pickup truck, and they've been on it before.
Really?
For real, yeah. They've been circling.
As bad as that situation sounds, that story there, like that is not by the book, and that is not nothing. That was a unforeseen, difficult situation as far as hunting goes. But stayed on the track. We've done everything possible we could, and we found both deer, even though it was not intentional to kill both deer.
And the coyote.
Yeah. But that's one of the biggest things. I know we preach a lot about, give that deer 100% of your effort to find it.
Yeah.
And we did that day, and it turned out to be great. That deer's hanging on the wall, and that's one of Michael's biggest kills,
Yeah, it definitely was.
But it is easy not to, I guess you don't think about it or don't realize you're doing it to push a deer. You know you're not supposed to, but
you want him to be laying.
Yeah, you're like,
right
man,
there.
I know it's laying. If I walk just right over this hill, he's gonna be laying there. Well, then it's not. And this next thing you know, you done bumped it and pushed it on further.
Most of the time, I mean, in a perfect world, they're going to drop. You make a good shot, got a good caliber rifle, they're going to drop. But if they don't, I've had them run off the edge of the food plot. Just I go out there and make sure I find blood where they're standing. If I don't see that deer from right there, that's it. Give it an hour. Give it 2 hours.
But what do you do in a case like today? Where it's going to get to be 80 degrees.
Well, Daddy shot that deer, for example, and it was starting to get a little smell to it, but he shot it at probably 8:30.
And what time did y'all get it out?
It's probably 10 something, right at
You're
11
good,
probably.
Barry.
But the meat was actually when I stopped by his house when he was dressing it, but it started like cooling off. It wasn't like hot.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't bad enough to burn. Now, yes, if you'd sit there all day long, that might be a different story when it's.
Did y'all field dress or did y'all just bring it on out?
No.
And if you're going to be any,
he was right. I mean, y'all weren't too far from the house.
Yeah, we're
really
4 miles from the house. We don't ever field dress one in the woods unless it's just
because we're right there at the shop or somewhere. I mean, it takes us 10 minutes to get back to where we can
camp. Most of the time we don't either. But if you have one that's been laying a long time,
and it's going to be another hour or two before you're able to get the
or a difficult situation getting it out. You got to call for somebody to help. Yeah, go ahead and dress it in the woods instead of letting meat run.
Well, heck, there's been times where I've gutted one just because get some weight off of it, so you can get it out of that ditch or move it. If you're by yourself,
I'd definitely get it to a shady spot if possible too.
Yeah,
keep direct sun off of it where it don't heat up so fast.
What did y'all do down by the lake, Mike? When you had the bigger deer, would you always field dress them? Or?
Yeah, we always did.
No, we wouldn't because that was we're talking about one of the hardest ones to recover. Thomas killed a deer one Thanksgiving morning, and we drug that thing about 3/4 of a mile with the guts in it because I didn't want to drop the guts out there where we were hunting at because I don't know. We were coming back the next day and coyotes were bad out there and stuff, so I didn't want them out there stinking everything up and messing with it. So we didn't field dress that deer till we got it way away from the stands and stuff. But we had to drag that thing. We finally field dressed it, and thank God we did because we would just give out. We done drug that thing a long ways down the bean field.
Y'all had walked in along like half a mile more.
Oh yeah, it was way over there.
Yeah,
because I didn't have the 4-wheeler with me, so I just had my 2-wheel drive pickup back then, and I'd parked on a neighboring farm or cow pasture.
Yeah,
pulled up to the edge of our property. I had permission to be on both, and we walked from there. And anyways, we had to drag that deer all the way back down that bottom like that with them guts in it.
I know, in some states in government land, don't they require you to immediately field dress them where you shoot them? I mean, what's the thought on that? I mean, is it better where they're lying to field dress them? I mean, because, they're going to be gone.
I mean, it depends. I mean,
Coyotes going to find them. Buzzards going to find it. It ain't going to lay there for weeks.
I field dressed deer up there where they're talking about where Fake killed that deer at this morning. I field dressed one right there by the stand. Guts were pretty much gone the next day, and I killed another deer the next day.
I mean, a lot of times
it didn't affect it.
Yeah.
But I've dropped stuff like that out there, and I don't know. It just really depends. I mean,
you got to think too. We don't have nothing out there big enough to eat us. If I'm out in Colorado, I ain't gutting one unless. I mean, that would be the biggest scary part to me, elk hunting or moose hunting, is you're out there and bears they're within hollering distance of you all the time. And
but you ain't got no choice out there.
Yeah, you
gotta
got
get some weight off of it.
Yeah,
you got to break it.
Yeah, because you got to get out there. You have to get the meat out before you do the head or horns, anything like that.
There's a lot of states, if you don't, you just take the horns.
Yeah, you're in trouble.
Yeah. You've got to make every attempt to use every bit of that animal, or it's a ticket.
I try not to field dress the deer right there where I killed it at. And like if we killed one at the farm down there, I'm not gonna field dress that thing out in the middle of the field.
And two, I guess another thing would be is if it's a bad shot on one, I'll try to get it out as quick as I can. I've done that down there before.
Yeah.
No, if it runs away from a hunting, if it runs off somewhere where it's not around the stand, we're gonna get the guts out.
Yeah,
if it's clean kill, you put it down right there. Yeah,
load it up, take it back to the shop, hang it up,
load it up, take it back to the shop.
I don't want them. It's easier too.
I mean, a coyote is a predator, so you don't know how that deer is gonna react to. If it was a dozen coyotes out there eating at what you left.
Yeah.
How are they going to look at that the next morning when you get in there and try to hunt, or the next evening, or somebody else comes in behind you?
You don't want to give that coyote a reason to be there.
No.
Especially when you've got limited amount of acres you're hunting too, and you're going to want to rehunt. Get them off the field, get them put up, get them taken care of as fast as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I've put a camera. Have y'all ever put a camera on a gut pile? We have. Down at my dad's. Yeah, we wanted to. Well, we knew we were throwing deer out here in this certain place. And they were disappearing so fast. It's like, man,
they were looking for old chupacabras.
We wanted to see if a wampus cat was coming to get them.
Wampus cat, yeah.
A wampus cat. So you would be amazed. We need to do that this year. That's pretty interesting content. I don't know if
possum and armadillo and skunk is gonna be the first three there.
Everything in the woods comes by there. Deer come by there.
Smell it.
Yeah. They just mill around. They're not eating anything there. Coyotes, bobcats, armadillos, skunks. Possums, coon, it's buzzards. I mean, it's like a zoo when you do that and you put a camera on it. It's crazy how much stuff comes by there and checks it out. And you put a regular game camera out in the same spot, nothing there, and you might get some stuff bebopping through, but there's nothing to draw them in.
Yeah,
I don't know I guess it's the smell that they're drawn to, or they're just curious. Everything's curious to see what it is. Maybe they smell the other animals going there, but there's some reason that they're drawn to it, even though they don't eat decomposing material or whatever.
Heck, we're the same way. You be riding through the woods, like, man, something stinks. Let's go see what that is.
Yeah.
Man, I remember Jamie and them was in a club down in, where was it? Crap. It was where y'all had the old, like, small shed y'all stayed in. You and...
Oh, that was at, that was in Ripley.
Ripley, yeah.
It's another one of them dog clubs.
No, I don't make run dogs on this one.
No, we was down there. I went down there with him to help put up stands or something. And I was like, man, something is ripe. And we got to walk around. Man, it was an old cow over there blowed up. Ooh, man, it was bad. It was like a balloon blowed up. But you going to walk and look for it and see what it is.
Yeah.
We had one neighbor I guess it was a horse or something, wasn't it, Mikey?
Yeah.
It was right around there. It's like you knew something was wrong.
Yeah, that guy was putting out stuff.
He threw it over in the corner in the ditch.
I walked up there one day, and it was so many skulls up there. That was just where
that's the graveyard.
Graveyard.
Yeah,
something dies in the pasture, he pushes it there.
Yeah, that's part of our coyote problem, probably.
So we're doing the stickiest one now.
Well, we can. I was gonna kind of let it roll into other whoops.
Other whoops.
Yeah, I can think of a bunch of whoops that we've done in deer stand or getting to and from a deer stand or.
Well, this can go under oops and sticky.
I know which one you finna talk about. So, Jamie ought to too.
What, Robert Edwards?
Yeah. Mark was talking earlier about people calling Jamie and Mark and them because they had four wheelers. Well, we get a call Christmas morning. We're
Christmas Day morning.
Yeah, we're eating breakfast.
We're eating breakfast. We're in pajamas and stuff like that. And
Melted cheese is still hot.
Right, melted
Yeah.
cheese is going.
this local guy pulls up and he was like, he said, I need y'all to come get a deer for me. So,
I mean, Robert's probably in his
probably in
late
his-
60s, early 70s back then, probably.
Back then he was. He was an old man.
But you got so backtrack on this guy. They probably grew up, probably 70s before they ever had running water in their house. They grew up
Tough as nails.
tough. That's one of the toughest men I've ever met in my life.
They couldn't get it out. Or
he was
old.
just old.
He was. I
Yeah.
mean, he was.
So y'all was the
We was
Paul
the-
Bryant towing company.
yeah, I mean, I didn't know
Yeah.
how many deer we went after this guy, but I mean, and we didn't mind.
Yeah,
but it was anyway. Keep on going, Mike. It's a pretty good one.
So, anyways, he comes in there, gets us. We come out. Me, Jamie, Thomas. Did you go?
No, I didn't go to
Young
get it.
man.
I think just me, you, and Thomas.
Yeah.
So just me, Jamie, and Thomas. And anyways, we get on the two four wheelers. We were on yours and
Me and Thomas both had 4 wheelers.
Thomas's. Yeah. So anyways, we get on the 4-wheelers and we, tear out down the road where he told us he shot this thing at. He says in that long field, right? You see it from the Blacktop Road.
That's enough.
That's a red flag
that's
from the
enough.
Blacktop Road.
That should have been the red flag.
Yeah,
Should have been. Knowing that wasn't Robert's land.
yeah.
Like, yes, sir, we got it. So we blow down through there. Nobody took a gun. Deer's
Yeah.
dead, right?
No.
No. We start out across this wide open field. I mean, we're rolling down through there because we're really not supposed to be there. Don't know if he is or isn't.
Yeah.
We're just trying to help old man out do the right
Yeah,
thing.
we were trying to do the right
Gotcha.
thing. So we're peeling down this field. He made a heck of a shot on this thing. How far was it off the
Shoot,
road?
300 something yards probably.
300 something yards, man.
Out the window, you reckon?
Well, maybe.
Probably,
You don't know.
yeah.
Y'all
No,
wasn't there.
he was
Possibly.
definitely in an enclosed stand.
Y'all was not there for that part.
He was not there for that.
We were just recovering.
Okay.
realized the situation maybe as we turned the corner. But anyways, this nice buck is
Yeah.
laying in the field.
Plain as day.
Plain as day. Dead as a hammer, looks like.
Shot one of Santa Claus's.
Yeah.
Man.
Once we get up on it, we're already, 100% honest, we wasn't supposed to be there. Turn and look over my shoulder, and we can see in this lady's house, like her kitchen table.
They're eating breakfast too.
Yeah, I
They
mean,
opening presents.
I mean, I had no idea we was that close to the house neither, but
In their backyard.
pretty
Oh,
much.
yeah.
So what did y'all do?
Well,
tried to
by
load
the
the
time
deer.
we get, by the time we get up to this thing, it decides it wants to get up.
Yeah, it ain't dead so much.
Oh,
Yeah.
I had a pocket knife with about a 2-inch blade on it, maybe.
So I jump off one side of the 4-wheeler and I pretty much land on top of it. And I
Well,
kind of
before they get stopped, you just
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Fell
Yeah,
off.
we
kind
was
of like how see him in the rodeo.
Rodeo.
attack. Yeah.
So I get a hold of him, and you don't realize how strong
That's
them
never a
animals
good
are.
idea.
No, that was not a good idea because he could have overpowered me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Thomas is a pretty good sized boy. Thomas and Mikey both was holding, and I'm with this, like I say, it's 2-inch long
Trying
blade.
to dispatch.
I'm trying to,
Finish it.
get it where we can load it.
Then we realized we were in a real bad situation because we look up and we see kids looking out the window.
Oh,
They're
man,
crying.
they saw y'all.
I don't know about all that.
We might have exaggerated that
No,
one.
we was.
I don't know if them folks seen us or not. I was not going to make eye contact with them.
How long did all this take? Was this
Y'all
like
are here
it
telling this
It felt
story.
like a 2-hour ordeal.
Yeah, no,
it
it's
probably
not
didn't
stopped.
take
Yeah,
5 minutes.
yeah.
So
Before
while
you
they're
had it loaded up on the back
Yeah.
of the four.
It wasn't always dead when it was on the 4-wheeler neither.
Really?
No, it was
So they're going to do this. So Daddy's like, get dressed. We'll get here. We're going to have them dress the deer out. Which me and Daddy did not know what was going on. We just thought
Get ready to clean the deer.
getting ready to clean a deer,
Big
no big
buck
deal.
down.
Yeah, big buck down. So I get dressed. We're going out there and getting the shop opened up and get ready to dress the deer out. Here they come up to drive. I'm talking about tearing hell out. I mean, both of them, all of them red in the face, panicky, like they
Deer
get that.
still looking up.
no, it was gone
No.
by then.
They get up, and that's the first thing Thomas said. What in the hell you got us doing, Robert? I mean, it was.
What?
He's like, well, thank y'all for getting that deer. He
Yeah.
don't, you know,
Nothing,
and the thing about it is like, this does not make it right by no means. But that generation there, I mean, they hunted everywhere.
There's
I mean,
deer.
land was land, and I mean that was food on his table. That's how he looked at it.
Yeah.
Now that does not make that situation right, but we done the best we could to get the deer out. You know, do what we were supposed to do. But
That could be a tricky situation. You have a lot of explaining to do.
oh, it's entertaining.
Game warden would have got you on that, man.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't have a gun, I guess.
Oh.
No.
Guess he could have just got you on trespass and took the deer.
Yeah. Probably so. That's probably what they'd done. They probably took the 4-wheeler and a deer, and
Yeah.
we'd had to get the 4-wheelers out of impound. But
That was
Good
a
thing.
That's one of them stories you tell around a campfire.
Yeah.
It was an experience, and to ask more questions the next time.
Yeah. Where
Why
are we
don't
going?
you take me to
Before
where
we-
it's at?
yeah,
Let's go look
yeah.
at the situation before
Before
I
we
just
go
tear
get
out of
it,
here.
yeah.
I think it was one of them situations. I think he said, "Follow me, I'll show you."
Probably so.
He just told us where it was at.
No,
We knew.
that was a good one.
That was the stickiest one.
Now we had one. I guess it was Hunter's first buck down in Abbeville.
Yeah.
That wasn't sticky because we had permission to shoot a deer over there.
Yeah,
we
we
just
had permission to shoot one over there.
we couldn't hunt over there. He said, "If y'all see one over here, shoot it." But he didn't want us hunting. And
So that was another one of border stands.
no, we wasn't even in the stand.
It was a border
Yeah.
stand.
It rained that morning. Me and Hunter, we were young. We probably wasn't 12, 13 years old. And we hunted after the rain quit and didn't see nothing. So we got down stand. We were walking, just looking. I mean, had walked on the field and looked, and the buck was bedded down out there in sage grass. And to us as kids, man, it looked like Booner Crockett sitting out there. Sun was shining on his horns, and man, it looked good. So I was like, man, we was a kid, or we were younger. We was like, man, I think we can shoot it, but I ain't sure. So Hunter belly crawled up and, got on it, and it's still bedded down. And I said, stay right here. I said, I'm going to go get Mikey, because I think it was just us down at camp. Wasn't nobody else there, I don't think.
I think so. I think y'all were just with me.
That was pre-cell phone days. Too.
Yeah,
Oh,
pre-cell
yeah.
phone days. So Hunter stays on deer. I strike out running, and I run all the way back to camp. We're probably,
It's a ways.
2 miles probably. We was a good little haul. Go get Mikey. Tell him what's going on. We got a deer in the field. Don't know what to do. Come back. We're looking for the adult supervision.
They picked the wrong one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get almost back to it. We can see Hunter laid there looking, and I guess the deer heard us or something. It stood up. As soon as that deer stands up, he hits the ground again. So, heck, me and Hunter tear out across the field. He grabbed one antler, I grabbed the other, and we're running. I mean, we're in a wide open sagegrass field. Like, there's no cover. But that was Hunter's first buck. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Fun.
Oh man, if my Uncle Jimmy was still alive, we'd sure enough hear some stories.
Oh, we'd shut podcast down if he was
Jimmy's
telling them.
packed a deer out before.
In his
Yeah, he did.
in his long johns.
Yeah. So I'm like, Jimmy, so he said, well, it wasn't quite legal. I'm like, well, you're toting out your Long John shirt covered in blood. How's that any? I mean, you still have to explain something, but he didn't see it that way.
He packed. He
quartered
it
it
up.
up.
Quartered
yeah.
up, put it in
Cut
his
all
long
meat
johns.
off.
Yep.
Man,
We was
shook the spots off that one.
over there in Abbeville off 30 highway, probably quarter mile from check-in station.
Yeah.
Like I say, then me and
I'm
Mark,
disclosing way too much information on locations.
man,
Yeah, you can't
be
tell
all right.
anybody how
Them
the
days are
money-
over.
And the poachers were.
You get Malcolm on there, he gonna spill the beans in a minute.
So me and Mark,
I tried to shoot mine, let them fall. That's what.
How long do the game wardens leave
Yeah,
those
yeah, can they-
cold
they're not-
case files?
they're not like IRS can
Cold
get you in
case
7
files.
years.
Cold case skateboard file. It's like, where's the statute of limitations on that?
Yeah.
I don't know, Mikey. Did you eat it? If it's eat it, the evidence is gone.
What was that? Probably, man, 8 a quarter mile from the game warden check-in station, maybe.
They're right across the road.
They went
So,
far.
At the time, like I say, we the only one that had 4-wheeler, and we knew Jimmy had shot a deer, and so I go back there to get it. Well, I didn't know I was going to get 3. I mean, he done shot 3 deer muzzleloader season.
This is shooting them with the muzzleloader.
Yeah, right
he
by the
got
game
3
warden
shots on him.
station.
On a management area, not on regular government land.
That's what he was doing. He was managing.
Yeah, he managed.
Twice about it, probably.
No.
That's,
And
but
again,
that's
that
how
goes
he
back
grew,
to
that's
the-
how he grew up. If they didn't shoot it, they didn't have nothing to eat. I mean,
Yeah.
and
His daddy probably told him, "You go shoot deer."
and he did
Exactly what
not.
they did.
It pretty much wasn't nothing wasted when. I mean,
No.
Jimmy. It was,
I knew some old guys like that. They work out every bit of meat between the rib bones.
yeah.
I'm talking about we'll take a pocket
Yep.
knife and work on them where there ain't nothing left. They're getting every single scrap of usable meat off that deer carcass. That's just how it goes.
Yep.
What about some funny stuff? Malcolm,
That
Hey,
stuff's
hey,
pretty funny
fellas.
now.
yeah, that's just real funny now.
I saw one on here getting stuck, and I thought Mark was making fun of me about getting stuck in the deer stand.
No, I
last
was talking
year.
about a vehicle getting stuck. You did get
Oh.
stuck in the deer stand.
That wasn't that wasn't funny at all, man. I had step brake, got hung up.
Hey, that's you
I
got
still ain't right over that.
HD steps on it now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wish I could have seen Shell run that freaking
Golf
golf
cart
cart in
through
there
there.
like the General Lee
She
and
slid it.
slide
That
across the hood. And
So that
say,
ain't no like little ditch to cross on a golf cart neither.
No.
it shook every bolt out of it.
She would balls the
There.
wall.
Oh yeah, come off the gravel road. I was hanging on for dear life, and Michael's still up in the stand.
He can't get out. You got the door blocked.
I got the door blocked. No, actually, it wouldn't. The 2 steps, the 2 top rungs, it broke. Like I was like, you going to jump? I was like, son.
And Michael ain't going to jump.
No, he wasn't going to jump. He's going to watch me sit there and hang.
What'd he say? Mama, Daddy's got a problem.
I don't know what it was.
I can't remember what he said. Daddy's
He was
in trouble.
screaming and cussing. I was like, dang, I never heard him cuss. He wasn't 11 years old. He was scared. He was really scared. Yeah.
Oh, that's scary.
It was scary. Yeah.
Like Malcom was scared too, wasn't he?
I was holding on for life. I didn't want to fall. I mean, I'd already fallen and got hung.
I mean, yeah, that
But,
probably wasn't 2 foot off the ground.
it was far enough to where,
It was going to hurt.
yeah, it was going to hurt bad. The way my leg was caught, it was like all my weight was going to fall on that leg and it was going to break that leg. So Shell kind of got to where she could push my leg as I let go and kind of fell back and it untwisted me a little bit.
We got that fixed up.
Yeah. I was just glad to be down. Like,
Did
when I
you
hit the
finish
ground-
hunting?
No, when I hit the ground, I was like just scampered a little bit and got to that golf cart. It didn't hurt till I got back to the house. That's when it set in because you're such a I don't
Adrenaline.
know, yeah, adrenaline gets pumping. I was just holding on for dear life because I was flipped upside down, just holding. I said I can't let go. I can't.
No, I was referring to getting vehicle stuff. I've been there. One of the things I think everybody's done, at least anybody that hunts out of climate stands, lost the bottom section of the climate stand when you're about 20 foot up.
Oh yeah.
You ain't got to worry about me doing that. I ain't getting up in one. Why don't they come with? I mean, they got the strap already on them.
Yeah, but you know us, we'd be all right.
I've never been that bad in one. Now, one Sunday morning before church, I had to go get Drew. Drew was probably 20 foot up in the tree, and the bottom section was about 5 foot off the ground.
Oh man, it slid all the way down.
Yeah.
And you think it would just fall and catch. Heck no, it's just like
it's pins to the ground.
keeps going.
You just watch it.
You just watch it. Ain't nothing you can do.
So if it did fall and slip, and you had the guide on it, could you pull it back up enough to get it back around the tree?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, you have it short enough that's the same, I guess you call it the stroke or whatever it is, where you stand up and sit down. That way it's in
You can
leg
catch
to
it.
reach. Yeah.
Is it just something you forget to do or something, or is it just inconvenient?
you know, it's
Well,
not
like mine. I didn't lose mine all the way down. I had it, but the length of the rope was a lot
too long.
Was way longer than.
Yeah.
It's just like
Couldn't
everything
get
else.
to it to.
Mm-mm.
And you're in an awkward position.
Or it broke. I don't remember. It broke or something. Somehow I couldn't get to it.
Yeah.
You don't think it's going to happen to
somebody
you?
come got you?
No, I hung out the front end of the stand and got it down where I get my toes on it and got a hold of it and pulled myself back up.
Man. Is that what y'all did? Or?
I've never had mine. I mean, I've had it fall, but not that bad.
The one time mine fell, it was I had it strapped, but it's still, like you said, it drops 10 foot. You don't think about it. Like, used to, none of the stands come with that. Now, I guess they all come with a little tether that hooks to the bottom.
I
But
think they'd have a backup for the backup. Though. I mean,
Malcom's
that's the worst thing
parachute.
possible that can happen to you. I guess other than the tree break or something.
now, I have been, heck, it was hunting your ladder stand, the black stand over in Abbeville.
Yeah.
I was sitting in it, and a tree beside me fell. And I'm talking about it fell to where the branches hit the ladder.
Oh.
And I was like, man, that's a gut-wrenching feeling.
I have been in a stand in the woods. Trees go to falling. That's pretty eerie right there.
Yeah, I had to top and break out of one of those big oak trees one time, just sitting there on the ground, and I heard something. I kept hearing something pop, and it did it for several minutes, and then all of a sudden, I mean, it just
Let loose.
it come loose, and I looked up, and it wasn't real close to me. I mean, it was 20, 30 yards from me. It was close enough, to scare me a little bit because, hell, I didn't know what was going on. It wasn't even raining or storming or nothing. It just done it.
Well, last year, we hunted 2 different times. It snowed, the temperature dropped. It snowed, which is rare for us up here in North Mississippi. But it would, we were in box stands, and them pine trees load up. And when they start snapping and it's all around you, hear all this stuff.
You get out of that
snapping,
box
you don't know
stand.
oh, yeah. I was like, man, one of these big trees is fixing to land smoke because they were falling everywhere. You could hear them, and it's an eerie sound.
What
You hear
a
that snap and it's crashing all around you.
Well, I just went blank. I was going to ask you something that y'all done. I can't remember what the heck it was now.
Y'all ain't never hunted no sketchy stands, so
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
So, matter of fact, it was the same Robert, the same guy I was talking about earlier. His son put a stand. I don't know if you ever even heard it. 'Cause, it was down in the bottoms. It had cotton picker spikes for the steps.
yeah, spindles.
And man, that thing, I swear it was probably 30 foot up in the air and just had a rinky dink 2x4 platform. That's what they hunt. And I hunted it probably one time in my life, and and I'm not scared of heights. I love climbing trees, climbing stand, whatever. But I wouldn't hunt that stand.
I'm trying to think. The squirrel stand, we talked about it before. That was probably one of the hardest ones to get into.
The squirrel stand?
Yeah, the one you and Thomas put up over there across from camp in Abbeville. Jimmy called it the squirrel stand. He got so mad at y'all putting that stand because he wanted to hunt it so bad he couldn't get in it.
I didn't know they called it the squirrel stand.
Yeah, Jimmy did. Jimmy named it. That's where he killed the old tobacco horn deer. No, it was.
It was.
I think that's what a lot of people, they would put up sketchy stands just so other people wouldn't want to get in them.
Oh, yeah.
You put up one just good enough for you to get in, or, nobody else is going to get in it.
I had a buddy of mine when I went down to Tunica with him. They owned, I don't know, they owned 1,000 acres or something like that. Well, he didn't want his brother getting in this stand. And he had screw-in steps all the way up, and this tree forked, and he had a huge platform in the top of it. I mean, it was like a 4x8 platform on the top of this forked tree. There were no steps for 12 feet. He had one spike where you had to jump and grab it, and then you had to pull yourself up to it, and then
That's too much work.
Above that?
Yeah, and there was something above it you had to grab. You had to really climb to get in this thing. And I was like, how are you going to go up there?
With your gun and everything you got?
If the tree's iced up or what, you ain't getting in it. If you do,
how do you
wish
get
you
down?
hadn't.
So how do you get down from that situation?
He went up there and he come back down out of it, but he had to bear hug the tree and slide down so far and get on another step. And I was like, man, it ain't worth all that.
It ain't worth that. No.
I ain't never hunting that thing.
No, me either. That's what I told y'all about that one I had too. They had the spaces were out about every other rung, and that's how you were supposed to get up in it. Nope, none of that for me. If I got to jump to get to the next one, I ain't getting it.
We're on the ground.
Yeah,
Definitely,
got a ground blind.
things have changed since, I guess, growing up hunting and what we got now. It's a lot easier now. Hands down, a lot easier.
Oh, the worst thing I hated as a kid is my dad, my Uncle Jimmy, all the ladder stands had milk crates. That's the most uncomfortable thing you can sit on for 4 or 5 hours.
On top of the platform, sit on
they're too low. They hurt your butt. Yeah, it's not comfortable at all.
They built these stands. They thought they done built some Cadillacs. Man, it had a soup can welded on the side for a cup holder or spit. I don't know what that was for. Spit cup.
Ashtray.
Yeah, probably
Probably
for Jimmy.
And then they had some gun holders on the side of it. And then what else was it they built on them things? It was weird.
I don't remember.
And they had the milk crate.
Yep,
And that was milk crates. Still to this day, you can go to that camp, and underneath it, I bet it's 50 milk crates stacked. Ain't no telling how many he done collected.
That was a professional deer seed, huh?
You get one dry rod, and it pinch your butt when you sit down on it, and everything else.
Yeah, if you fell through it, it was stuck on you. You had to roll over to get it off of you.
I hunted on one a lot down there at Coldwater on public land.
A milk
That's
crate?
I wouldn't even take it with me. The floodwaters got up. You could just walk through the woods, usually find
them.
So I had me some old trees I done knew where I'd seen deer before. I just put the old milk crates over in the brush pile, and I'd go back and get my milk crate, and that's what I sat on. That's poor hunting right there, though.
I cannot.
Had nowhere else to hunt.
Hunting off the ground, I can't do.
Really?
I don't mind it, but I feel like I stick out.
I mean,
if I'm sitting
behind a tree or something, I think I don't mind it.
Well, if I'm sitting here, I look over there like, man, if I move 10 yards to the left, I can see better. Then I'm sitting there, and well, man, if I go back over here to the right, I can see further, and I can't do it.
I'd rather hunt in the open with no blind than I had set in a ground blind.
Yeah.
Like find a good high point where I can watch a bottom or a ridge, a hollow or something like that. Set up where I'm between where I think they're going to come from and the deer. And I've killed several deer like that. I like doing that.
I do too. On a ridge, that was how I hunted in Tennessee. We would go find a finger to come out between, two swags.
Yeah.
That way you could tell the deer were running those ridges. You get a pretty good vantage point up against a tree. It's as good a spot as being up high.
Mm.
You still elevated up. Well, the hills, we were elevated up.
We got one like that. You can stand on that power line over there. You probably just sit with your feet dangling off
the
dirt.
That's one thing I like about that property over there is it reminds me of hunting hill. I mean, it is hill country there. It's got some up and downs to it. You can get a pretty good vantage up there.
So what we got coming up this week?
Man, we're fixing to do a full-blown full week of cooking recipes and wrapping up some of our pre-hunting season chores I guess we're working on. And got a few other things we're going to be doing down at camp next week. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, it's going to be a good week. It'll be a busy week.
I think we got our buddy, our Cajun buddy coming up. Mr. Stale Cracker's probably going to come hang out with us, I think, maybe.
Got to get that jambalaya pot tuned up.
We got to cook some jambalaya. Maybe cook some gumbo. Mikey, you got anything you want to cook?
Man, that old crawfish bread. shrimp bread, whichever one you want.
Whichever
to buy.
one,
Yeah.
man. Hey, do the
You can
combo.
do it either way.
Do the combo.
Yeah.
Shrimp and crawfish bread.
We're gonna be hurting.
Jamie was talking about making some roasting a whole hind quarter, smoking a hind quarter, wasn't
That sound good.
it? Yeah. Doing what'd you say? Do a Philly cheesesteak on the flat top with it?
Yeah, turn it into Philly cheesesteak, which we done some of that similar to that last year. Made sandwiches. It was excellent. It was real good, but I definitely think we can improve on it. Got that. Have some equipment down there. Hopefully next week. Do some shoring up, clearing.
We
and
do
cleaning.
have several areas we need to get cleaned up. So I think would you get a line on renting? You can put our name down.
Yeah, we should be good. We should be getting probably a cat, probably $299, $289 with the mulcher, and then Mikey requested a Mini X, so we got to do some re-plumbing of ditches, I guess you'd say. And
Well, we got some water flow issues where it messes up the food plots the way it's kind of just channeled down naturally.
I mean, yeah, that was all fixed right probably 6, 7, 8, 10 years ago probably, but now it's getting trees growed up in it, and it's just normal.
You don't
normal
realize
land
how much
maintenance.
silt comes down a ditch. I mean, from me working with the city over a 5-year period of time, like every 2 years we had to clean ditches.
The same
3
ditch,
years.
same one.
I mean, you go through and just clippings off the people's yards and just
Yeah, 'cause
dirt
everybody
that carries
thinks
with
that-
the water. Once it settles, it's putting deposits of soil down, so your ditches fill up and flatten out, and now you got water just going everywhere.
So we had Rocky put that bend, and it was way worse. Remember?
Oh yeah, but
The
before
whole-
that's how that got the mud hole. Because if it rained, I mean, it would literally wipe out that whole food plot.
The
we
whole
noticed,
food plot.
we looked at it last week, was where the ditch is now, all those root systems are coming out, and it's just creating a mesh screen across the
they're
ditch, and it
catching
just
a lot of
catches
stuff.
everything.
Yep.
So we're going to try to
Holds
clean
it
that up. And
So do you think you had to dig it down, or are you just going to rechannel it so it's a straight
It ain't
shot?
be dug down too much, I don't think.
Yeah, I'll just clean out. I'll probably take a foot or so of dirt, maybe a little more than that, depending on where I'm at. I'll just kind of look at it and eyeball it, and just recut the ditch.
straighten it out, get it
Put
away
a
from the
levee
food
on that
plot.
side way if it does silt in, like put it up way higher than
Push
what.
it, yeah.
That way, if it does silt in, it never will
Get up over
get back
it.
over it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be a busy week, no doubt.
That's
a lot of
for
good
sure.
stuff. A lot of good content. Might have some more of these sketchy stories after next week. Who
I'm
knows?
sure we will. It's squirrel season too. Michael says he's gonna go squirrel hunting.
That'd be good.
I don't know.
Get some squirrel recipes.
I don't know if they could fit.
They still
to
got
eat this
wolves
time
in
of
them
year
now,
or
though,
not.
probably.
Man, them
Need a
two I
frost.
seen Friday.
Cold.
No, yesterday. Me and Will went down yesterday, and anyways, there was two that had I could see spots on them. I don't know what it was, if it was the wolves or it was I don't know what it was.
I mean, I'm 48 years old, but we was kids. Man, first October, I was grown before I knew what a wolf was. I mean, they never had them.
Randy and them, they'll go hunting somewhere down by the river and like around Greenwood or somewhere, some national forest down there. He said that those don't have them.
Don't have it.
But you come up here, I mean,
It's
I've killed them in my yard, and
Yeah,
they were in.
yeah. They say they don't hurt to eat, but I'm a little sketchy on it.
Man, if you
ain't
see
eat
that big
nothing ate
nasty
up.
gray worm poking in and out of
Yeah.
that thing,
I ain't that
Puss
ain't for
all
me.
around it.
None of that.
Mm.
Ain't doing it. If I clean it and it's got one of them, nope. I hate it.
it's nasty.
Yeah, I hate it.
Let's feed it to the cats.
Coyotes, I guess, get that one.
Yeah,
That's when you put a camera on, Mikey.
yeah.
The wolf squirrel.
The wooled squirrel.
Well, what else we got going on besides that? Is that it, Mark?
That's pretty much it. We just need some rain this week. Me and Jamie will be out of town this weekend, so I don't really think too much will be going on. Really, that's all it is. We're waiting on rain.
I'm waiting on rain.
Hopefully we get it. Crop start peeking its head out of the ground, start looking good, and then next week's gonna be a busy week for sure.
Well, without further ado, man, where can they find us, Mark?
Man, y'all can find us on all the platforms, any of the podcasts. We got YouTube, TikTok, some Instagram stories, stuff like that. Y'all make sure to check it out. And if y'all got any questions, hey, we're always here to answer them.
Well, we appreciate y'all hanging out with us for another episode of the Buck Junkie Podcast. And we'll be back next week. May have a special guest. We'll see how it goes. But for everybody, we gone.